Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Council Chambers on this kind of chilly, snowy October 23rd. Hopefully everybody had the opportunity to get snow tires changed if they do that, and just definitely make sure that you drive a little bit slower as the weather is changing and the roads are a little bit slick. Good morning, members of council. We have two meetings today. One is the organization meeting, and the next is the regular council meeting. So we'll deal with the organizational meeting first. It should take a few minutes, so we'll move on with that agenda. So before I proceed with that agenda, I'd like to acknowledge that we convene on the traditional lands of Treaty 6, which is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, the Inuit, and non-Indigenous people. We recognize the long history and contributions of Indigenous people who have cared for this land from time immemorial to present. We are committed, in the spirit of truth and reconciliation, to working collaboratively together to steward the land that we share, and we plan a future for all citizens. And we acknowledge that we are all treaty people, bound to one another by the spirit of the treaty. As long as the sun shines, the grass grows, and the river flows. Over the last year, members of council had a few opportunities to connect and interact with Alexander First Nation, Enoch Cree Nation, and Paul First Nation. And I also last week had the opportunity to participate in the first cultural and traditional funeral at Paul First Nation. We as a community are committed to continue to build those relationships with our Indigenous neighbors today and moving forward till tomorrow. Okay. With that, members of council, there is an agenda before you in terms of the organization meeting. Deputy Mayor, please.
Town Council adopt the October 23rd, 2023 Organization Council meeting agenda as presented.
Thank you. Administration, anything to add?
Nothing to add at this time, Your Worship.
Okay, call the question. All in favor? That's carried. Okay, move on to number 3, which is the appointment of the next Deputy Mayor. 3.1. Motion, Councillor Laurie, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll move the Town Council appoint Councillor Eric Meyer as the Deputy Chief Elected Official for the term of October 23rd, 2023 to February 29th. I believe that should say 2024, or until the appointment of the next Deputy Chief Elected Official.
That is correct. Thank you. It is right on our background information. It's incorrect on the screen. Okay. Councillor Meyer, I'm not going to let you speak to that. You are it, regardless if you like it or not. So I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. So Councillor Meyer. Okay, congratulations, Deputy Mayor Meyer. Definitely appreciate your work that's been coming up. I think there's a lot of things on the agenda that seems like a busy time of year for me, so I'll be leaning on you a little bit heavily once in a while to attend some of the meetings. Okay, and then to Councillor Loynes, thank you for stepping in the last couple months when I was not able to attend some meetings, and I definitely appreciate your insight and feedback on some of those meetings. Okay, moving on with our agenda. Number 4 is the meeting schedule for council. Members of council, you had the opportunity to review it. Any questions or comments on the meeting schedule? Okay, seeing none, I do have a question to administration. I notice through the list, it notices that there are certain days that we meet on a Tuesday. But I do realize and recognize that November 14th is a Tuesday, but it's not mentioned there. Is there a reason why that's not mentioned?
Go ahead.
Through your worship to council, that was just an oversight on our part, and we will have that amended.
Okay. Any other questions from council? Okay, seeing none, I'll call Councillor Fletchko, please.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. The Town Council approved the 2023 to 2024 council meeting schedule as presented with 1, all governance and priorities in regular council meetings beginning at 5 p.m. at the Town Office Council Chambers at 4905 51st Ave, Stony Plain, Alberta, and 2, the corporate plan meetings begin at 4:30 p.m. at the Town Office Council Chambers at 4905 51st Avenue, Stony Plain, Alberta.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Fletchko. Any questions, comments on the motions? See none, I'll call the question. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Move on to number 5, which is council boards appointments to agencies, boards, and commissions. Members' council, it is a part of your package. Councillor Hansard for the motion, please.
Your worship, I move that town council appoint members of council to agencies, boards, and commissions as presented, and to request administration to send a letter to each agency, board, and commission confirming the appointments.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Hansard. So members of council, based on kind of timing, second jobs, third jobs, your skill sets, this is kind of a little mix and match of things, trying to make sure that we use the best skill sets of each councillor onto the boards that we need in our communities. Any questions and comments? Debate on the motion. Call the question. All in favor? That's carried. Okay, moving on to number 6, which is the appointment of citizens at large boards. Let me get to that page. Okay, council, you've had opportunity to review them. Any questions before I take the motion? Councillor Anderson to the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll move that town council appoint the following named individuals to fill various citizens at large vacancies on the council appointed boards and committees as presented.
Okay, thank you. Any debate on the motion? Okay. I do just have couple questions for administration. I am looking at page 18 on the organization review. Looking at, for example, the very first one, the Community and Social Development Roundtable, it says that there are 3 openings, 11 applications were received, but we're only appointing 2 members to that roundtable. So my question is the openings going to stay open for that one vacant position until we find a suitable candidate, or we're not filling that position?
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you and to the rest of council, we were prepared to forward 3 names. However, one person withdrew their name late last week, and so we've not had the opportunity to touch in with the rest of the applicants to see who might be still interested in sitting on the round table. So I anticipate we will bring something forward in the next little while.
Okay, thank you. And then maybe same question to the Cultural Roundtable. I see that there are 7 openings, but yet there was 8 applicants, and we're appointing 5 members.
Thank you, Your Worship. We will be continuing to seek applicants for vacancies in that position, those positions as well as we go forward.
Okay, and then that would be the same with the other boards and commissions that have vacant seats? Yes, so the process will be the same with the other vacancies? I look at for example, the subdivision and appeal board, there's 3 openings, but there's only 1 name forwarded. So we have 2 vacancies that we're still looking to fill. Is that correct?
That is correct. Through you, worship to council, So the applications that were received, although it might say there were a lot of applications for each board, those applicants may have applied for numerous boards or multiple boards and may have only wanted one board. So even though there might have been 11 for one and 3 for another, they might have selected one. And so we do have some openings, and we will be keeping recruitment open and doing another round of advertising for members to make sure we fill all of those spaces.
Okay, thank you. And I appreciate that commentary, because that sets my mind at ease on that side. But I have concern regarding the Planning Advisory Committee. Listed on the agenda package, there's 2 openings, but we're appointing 3 members. So I'm not too sure how that works.
Through your worship to council, I believe one of the members, the list on 18 is all of the members who are on that board. So that's not listing all of who we've appointed today. It's listing all the members that are on there. So some of the members' terms don't expire till next year. So those are listed on that page. So the 3 members are who are currently appointed at this time.
Okay. Just let me get my thoughts around that, Councillor Hansard.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm just wondering if maybe we could get clarification, for instance, on Cultural Roundtable. Even though we had 11 applications and only these number of people, I think that's what the mayor said, even though these people were the ones appointed, Cultural Roundtable in particular has certain categories that a person can apply. First Nations representative, certain various categories. So you might get a total number of more applications, but if they aren't applying to fill the particular category, then they can't be seated according to the current regulations and mandate of the Cultural Roundtable. I don't know if that's true of any other boards, although I've sat on many of them. It does strike me that that may also be the case. But in Cultural Roundtable, there were definitions of the people that we wanted around the table when this committee was created, and that probably needs to be looked at.
Thank you for comments. Councillor Pletchko, please.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship, through to administration. So when I look at the Planning Advisory Committee, you just give us an explanation that there is 3 people on there, but only 2 openings. However, when we look down to the Stony Plain Public Library Board, there's 7 openings and there is 6 appointments. Are we showing all the people on the boards in each one of these categories, or are we showing some with people that are already appointed and others being appointed? And if so, can you clarify which of these boards that are all listed, which ones are actually appointments and which ones are actually appointments that have members that are already appointed to it?
Thank you for the question, through your worship, to Councillor Pletchko. So, sorry, I was mistaken on that. Page 20 and 21 show all of the board appointments. Page 18 on the planning advisory, I think perhaps we have an error on that. One of the members should be removed. Sorry, just 1 second. Sorry, through your worship to council, the Planning Advisory Committee actually had 3 openings. That's an error on that page. So there were 3 openings and we filled it with 3 members.
Okay. Councillor Laurie.
Thank you, Your Worship. Also, just a point on that in relation to the first applicant that was approved for Jessica Harnden. If you look at page 20, it shows that that's the first year of their 3rd term. But on page 18, it is the first year of the 2nd term. So I believe there's one of those 2 is an error. I'm not sure which one. So we'd just be looking for some clarity on that. I'm believing that it would likely be the third term, because I believe you can do two-year terms followed by one-year term, and then you have to cycle out. But I'll leave that to admin.
Through your worship to Councillor Laurie, that is correct. It should be the third term.
Okay, thank you. That's good. Any other questions on those? Okay, so administration will make those changes and send the revised schedule to council?
Through your worship, yes, we will.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, no, I do have another one then I have listed here. On page 18 on the Stony Plain Library Board, there are 7 openings. I'm just curious of, there's one applicant. The first one says Ruckus Borrelli. It says first year term, first term, but the expiry is December 31st of 2024. So
That doesn't make any sense.
and then there's other ones that says it's 2-year term, first term, 2025. So is there a reason for the different term lengths?
Through your worship to council, those 2 appointments were to fill members who resigned, and so it's just to fill the completion of those original terms.
Okay, thank you for answering that and provide some clarity. Any more questions? Okay, see none, call the question, all in favor? That's carried. Okay, moving on to number 7 is adjournment. So that ends our organizational meeting for August 23rd. And we will need a couple minutes for IT to switch over to the regular council meeting. So let's take 5, and then they'll give us the heads up when it's ready.